that Baasha, who comes from the Jezreel Valley area, which is the area of Yisachar. You've heard of the tribe of Yisachar? That, do you remember which animal Yisachar is likened to? A chamor, that's correct. And it says, Yisachar is a chamor gorem, rovates when he crops down. So that's why the earth is mentioned here. Okay? When you crack down into the ground, the earth, you're moving the earth. I brought you up from the earth. Yisachar is someone that comes up from the earth. Maybe that's the meaning. But I allowed you to be a leader. But what did you do wrong? You went and did what? You went in the path of Yeravam. Okay? So if we asked ourselves last year, how do you know that Baasha is not a tzaddik? How do you know that he didn't what? Kill the house of Yeravam? Because God said so. Here we learn. Here in verse 2 we're told that he, Mr. Baasha, he's no good. He caused other people to sin. So it's obvious that he didn't kill the people of Yeravam because he wants to do God's performance. No. He wants to hold power. He wants to eliminate people that challenge him for power. That's why he did it. What will happen to Baasha? Notice, Pasuk Gimel, verse 3. Hineni mav'ir acharei Baasha v'acharei veito. V'natati et beitcha kevet Yeravam ben Navat. It seems to be that some of the commentators explain that I'm going to what? Destroy Baasha and then his household. So how is he going to destroy his household? So someone to argue that this prophecy will only take place later, not now. This prophecy that Baasha's home will be punished. He will be killed, his children, his grandchildren. That means apparently that this decree that God is sending the prophet to kill will happen not now when Baasha's alive, but will happen only later. Okay? V'natati et beitcha kevet Yeravam ben Navat. Your house, your children, grandchildren, they're going to be just like what? Yeravam's home. Yeravam was doomed to be punished. So too here. So it's clearly that we're learning about a difficult time in the Israeli kingdom. There are people that are hungry for power, hungry for fame, hungry to, their arrogance is taking them away from every good day life. And they're doing terrible things. Baasha fulfilled the prophecy of Achia, but he didn't do it for the sake of the prophecy. He's terrible. He went and caused sin. He sinned and others sinned. What will be part of the decree? Let's read verse 4. Hameit levasha ba'ir yochlu aklavim. What a terrible prophecy. Those that die of the house, the representatives of Baasha, if they die in the city, the dogs will eat them up. They're not going to merit burial. We believe that burial is a very sacred thing. The body is returned to the dust of the earth from where it came. But here, a terrible thing. Those related to Baasha will be killed and they're eaten by the dogs. What about non-city people? Okay? Anyone that's representing Baasha but living outskirts, the rural areas, the outside the city, what's going to happen to them? What will happen to their carcass? The birds will eat them, and that'll be, of course, very disrespectful. But if you cause other people to sin, you're doing the disrespectful thing. So Hashem doesn't punish unless it's an educational punishment. If Baasha is hungry for power and not respecting others and killing people, murdering people, some of you know the first Beit HaMikdash was destroyed because of murder. Shvichut damim. Here you see example. Baasha is not looking to make justice. Baasha wants to protect his own pocket, his own honor, his own ruling. And therefore, he's going to die, and his children are going to die, and they're not going to be honored. Who will eat their carcasses? The birds of the sky. Okay? So we see here terrible things that Yehu ben Hanani. His father's a prophet. He is now telling us what's going to happen to Basha and his family. What happens in fact? Pasuk K, verse 5. V'yeter divrei Basha v'asher asa u'gvurato haloim ktuvim al Sefer divrei yamim lemalchei Yisrael. Gentlemen, okay, he's going to die. He's not going to have any more courage. He rules for for a short while, not a long while. We're going to see the years in a moment. And then what are we told in verse 6? Vayishkav Basha im avotav. He gets burial. Why does he get burial? With his fathers. Vayikaver b'tirtza. He gets a national burial. Why do you think he gets a national burial? Could very well mean that this decree issued by the prophet is for the next generation, for the children and grandchildren. In the meantime, he's buried in his area called Tirza. We said Tirza is the center of the Shomron going down to the Jordan River, the Nachal Tirza. That could be one of the areas. Who rules instead of Basha? His son. Vayimloch Eila v'no tachtav. What kind of person was Eila? Huh? What kind of son did he have? Let's read Pasuk Zayin. V'gam biyad Yehu ben Hanani hanavi. Dvar Adonai aya el Basha ve'el beito v'al kol hara asher asa bnei Adonai lachiso b'masei yadav liot kevet Yeravam ve'al asher hika oto. What happens with Eila? First, we're told that Yehu, the prophet, is reflecting the house of Basha for all the terrible things they did in the eyes of God. We thought, oh wow, Basha maybe he's a tzaddik, he's putting out punishment to Yeravam. We call that hypocrisy. He's not doing it for the sake of what? Of goodness, for the sake of righteousness, the sake of fulfilling a prophet's words. No. Why is he doing? He wants power. We're told that he's terrible. He not only does the wrong things, he gets God angered with all the terrible things. He's just like Yeravam and his house. Ken? Who? What did Basha do? Valasher hika oto. He killed him. Who is him? The son of Yeravam. Do you remember who came into office after Yeravam? What is his name? Nadav. So, Basha is punished for killing the son of Yeravam, Nadav, the king of Israel. Now, what purpose? Nadav was terrible. He went in his father's path. So why don't you say that Basha did a good thing? He killed Nadav. The problem here is we have a line of ethics. We have a way of living a life of Torah and mitzvot. That way is very moral. It's the morality of God, the ethics of God. What happens when you show on the outside, look, I'm righteous. I'm killing the most evil person in society. Who? The son of Yeravam. But we're told that this guy here, Basha, is evil. He's wicked. He himself is not maintaining a line of ethics. He's wicked. He's ruthless. He's cruel. And therefore, if you're not moral, if you're not ethical, can you punish others? If you yourself, you're not moral, you're not ethical, you're not a good person, can you punish others that are not good? Why not? Why not? You're right, but that's called hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy. You want to show that you're so righteous and you're killing all these evil people?
Unless you want to kill yourself as well, right?
But you yourself are evil. How can you issue punishment when you yourself are what? You're terrible. So here we're learning Baasha is responsible for killing Nadav, the son of Yeravam. Nadav was wicked. Nadav was evil. Nadav deserves death. Maybe it deserves death, but not from Baasha. Why not? Because Baasha is not a proper person. He's a terrible person. He is a cruel thief. He's full of hypocrisy. Okay? Nadav was a murderer. And you're killing him, you're a murderer also. You're not doing it because you want to bring musar, ethics, and righteousness here. Do you know what Chazal say in two different places? Rav Yigal Ariel brings it in his Sefer on this chapter. We learn an ethical standard. The Talmud says in one place, regarding a pasuk, I think from the Nevi'im, was it Chabakuk or Micha? I forgot exactly which Sefer. The word hitkoshesh, hitkoshet, ulai appears there. What is kshot atzmacha? Restrict yourself and then restrict others. Show yourself that you're righteous, and then you can show others that you're righteous. But don't give tough talk to people if you yourself are not right. That's the term kshot atzmacha v'achakach kshot acherim. A very important Gemara in Baba Metzia. Another concept appears. Okay, what is Mr. Baasha doing? He's killing Nadav, but Baasha is a wicked person himself. The Talmud says, "Tol korah shebein einecha, mi bein einecha." You know what you have in your eyes? You have a little piece of wood of a korah beam. It's talking about very unethical people. You're so unethical. Before you go ahead and kill others, why don't you straighten yourself out first? That's what the Talmud says. So here we're told the prophecy, of Yehu ben Hanani about the downfall of Baasha. Baasha is hypocritical. Baasha is evil. He sins and causes others to sin. Let's keep on going on reading. Verse 8. Okay? Bishnat 26 shana lasa. Look at this. Look how long he's ruling. Melech Yehuda. Malach Elah ben Baasha al Yisrael b'tirza shnatayim. Okay. Baasha dies out of his own cruel ways. His son, Elah, is the new king. But all this is part of the kingdom in Judah of Asa. Asa rules 41 years. 41 years. Do you know who's ruling in the Shomron kingdom? We saw Yeravam, Nadav, now Baasha, and now Elah. 4 kings. There going to be another 2. There's such a great instability in the Shomron. It's like South America or Latin America. There's a coup d'etat. So many turnovers in power, so often in a short period of years. This is what's happening here in Israel. Okay? So here it is in the 26th year of Asa. Elah, the son of Baasha, rules. But why only 2 years? Why does he ruling 2 years? Because some people decide to go ahead and kill him. Who? Look at this, verse 9. Vaikshor alav avdo Zimri. We saw the word Vaikshor beforehand, tying together to do a rebellion. He has a servant, Elah, the son of Baasha, as an advisor. He's called Zimri. Is he a high-ranking officer? No. What is he? Sar Machzit Arachav. Okay, very important to see the psukim. He is the minister of what? Sar Machzit Arachav. Where are you? Oh, you're in Shmuel. You're not in the book of Kings. Kings 1. Okay? What is he? He's in charge of half of the tanks, half of the cars, right? Here we're talking about. In other words, he's not a high-ranking officer. He is in charge of half of the tanks, let's say, the Rechev. Okay? In chapter 16, verse 9. Okay? So, what does he do? This guy Zimri. He gets together with some people, and he does a what? A rebellion against who? Elah. Where is Elah? Elah happens to be not where he's supposed to be. We're going to learn in a moment that Israel is challenged in war by the Plishtim. And the leader, instead of going south and going up against the Plishtim, he's having a few drinks, alcohol. You know what alcohol is? He's getting drunk. V'hu b'tirtza shoteh shikor. He's drunk. He's drinking so much. Beit Arza, name of a place. Asher alabayit b'tirtza. He's sitting in one of his advisors' homes in Tirza, and he's drinking. And who comes? Zimri. Zimri knocks him out in verse 10. Okay, remember, he's not a high-ranking officer. He's the minister of half of the how do we call it? Not the infantry. We'll call it in English the shirion, the armored units. He's in charge of half of the armored units. And what is he doing? The present king Elah is so drunk. Why so drunk? He's probably avoiding to go out to war, but his troops are out at war. We're going to learn. Pasuk Yud, Vayavo Zimri. Where is Zimri coming from? The Tanakh is silent here. But many commentators say, you know where Zimri's coming from? He's coming from the battlefield. He went to fight who? The Plishtim. Who didn't go fight? The king. Who's the king? The king is Elah. So what does Zimri do? He doesn't have a hard time killing him. Vayakeo vayimiteo. You know what it means to kill a drunk king? And where is this happening? Inside the castle, the palace of the king. In other words, this is devastating. The present king, as we're going to learn, instead of going to war against the Plishtim, which is in this chapter later on, he stays home, has a few drinks, he's drunk. Who comes and pulls, a revolution? The guy in charge of half of the tanks. He's an important officer, but he's not. Takes the law into his hand and kills him. And this is in which year of Asa? The 27th year of Asa, the king of Judah. And Vayimloch Tachtav. Who's the new leader? We have a new leader, Zimri. So things are moving rapidly. Baasha, a few years ago, was killed. Elah rules 2 years. A low-ranking officer pulls a revolution. What happens to him? What does Mr. Zimri do? Verse 11. Vayive malcho, while he's ruling, kishifto kiso, while he's ruling and sitting on his throne and he's making order here in the land of Israel in the Shomron, hika et kol beit Baasha. Look at this. He goes out and executes the children, the grandchildren of Baasha. Wow. Doesn't it sound like he's a tzaddik? Why? He is performing what? The will of the prophet. Okay? We just saw the prophecy of Yehu ben Hanani, that the house of Baasha will be doomed, will be destroyed. Who's doing it with fervor? He's doing it with such great fervor and enthusiasm. We have a new king called Zimri, and he's killing the house of Baasha. In fact, he's doing such a great work. Lo ishir lo mashtin bakir. What a disgraceful expression. Not even someone to urinate on the walls is left over, meaning every male is killed. That's a very coarse expression. Ken mashtin bakir. He didn't leave one boy to urinate on the wall. Meaning we're talking here that he wiped out everyone. Cousins, children, friends. It sounds like cruelty. It sounds like a disgrace. And this is exactly what Zimri is doing. Further, Pasuk 12, okay? Vayashmeid Zimri et kol Beit Basha. Look at the verb that's used. He's destroying all the house of Basha. No relatives are here left over. No friends are left over. Everything is destroyed, including, the Malbim says, women and children. So, if you thought things were bad in the former generation by Mr. Basha, this guy Zimri is more cruel. Wipes out women, children. He does terrible things. Okay? Let's read it again, verse 12. Vayashmeid Zimri et kol Beit Basha kidvar Hashem asher diber el Basha biyad Yehu Navi. Does it sound like as if he's doing God's will? Well, maybe the fact is he did God's will, but not for God's purposes. He's doing it for his own power, as we see now in verse 13. El kol chatot Basha v'chatot Ela v'no asher chatu v'asher chtiu et Yisrael lachis et Hashem Elokei Yisrael behavlehem. So we see here, gentlemen, that he's ruthless, he's doing it, he's sinning, and he's wiping out people, but it's not doing it for righteousness. Verse 14, V'yeter divrei Ela v'chol asher asa haloim ktuvim b'sefer divrei yamin l'machei Yisrael. Ela apparently did some good things we don't know about. It's written in a book that we don't have, of course, today. And what happens, gentlemen, in Judah at the same time? Pasuk Tedva, verse 15. Bishnat esrim v'sheva shana la'asa. What's happening now in the 27th year of Asa, the king of Judah? Malach Zimri. Zimri, this guy's in power. How long is he ruling? Shiv'at yamim b'tirtza. Wow, that doesn't sound too long, does it? 7. Shiv'at yamim, 7 days. Shivat yamim. It says 7 days in Tirtza. Wow. What's going on? Where's the nation? Here's what we're referring to. The nation is at war. Where are they at war? Ve'am chonim al gibbeton asher leplishtim. We're learning that there's a war going on. Israel against the Plishtim. And where is Israel, the troops of northern Israel camping? In a place called Gibbeton. Okay? Now you hear the background. We're going flashback. We're going back to what we just learned. Vayishma amachonim lemor. The nation is camping here, ready to go war against Plishtim. What news arrives from the Shomron, 40, 50, 60, 70 kilometers away, and now maybe to the area of Rechovot, going south to the Plishtim Mir, to the Gaza Strip? What do they hear? Kashar Zimri. Zimri made a rebellion. He got a connection with other people, and he went ahead, and Zimri killed Ela, the son of Basha. V'gami katamelach. Not only did he rebel, he killed the king. What do they do? Where is the rebellion happening? In Tirtza. Where do these people hear about it? Down south, about to attack the Plishtim. What do they do? What? They say Zimri, he's not a high-ranking officer. He's now taking over? Come on. What do? Vayamlichu kol Yisrael et Omri. They put someone else in office. Omri, Sar Tzava al Yisrael bayom b'machaneh. Okay? He, until now, was the minister of security, the minister of war for the Shomron kingdom. Okay? And he didn't know exactly what's going on in the capital, in the Shomron. They find out that there was a coup d'etat, a revolt. They don't want to accept it. It's a balagan here. Everyone does what they want to do. Here, this minister of war declares himself that he's being accepted as the kingdom. People put him into office. Okay? B'machaneh. Now what do you have? At this time, we have 2 kings for the Shomron. Wow, what a balagan. So much killing and murder. We have a king in Tirtza, a low-ranking officer. We have another king towards the south that they put him into office because he was the Sar Tzava. He was the minister of the war. And now, there's going to be a battle. They're going to travel to Tirza and decide who's going to be the real king. We'll continue with this point the next time.